Yeah, well, let's go ahead and give the updates on that. Now, I do believe that it was North Korea that recently made a statement about how if the United States makes the wrong decision, that they're going to end up nuking the U.S. Now, I mean, let's get real here. What are they saying there? What do you think they're communicating?
Well, it seems that North Korea has been stepping up its rhetoric against the United States recently, with threats of counteraction if the US continues to assert its nuclear defense strategy in the region. This has led to some concerns about the potential for escalation and the risk of a nuclear conflict. It's difficult to say exactly what North Korea's intentions are with these threats, but experts believe that it's likely an attempt to assert its position as a major player on the world stage and to try to deter the US from taking any actions that it sees as threatening. However, it's important to note that North Korea has made similar threats in the past without following through, and many analysts believe that the country is unlikely to actually launch a nuclear attack. Nevertheless, the situation remains volatile, and it's important for all sides to approach it with caution and diplomacy.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can only be like kids on the playground for so long. I'm gonna nuke you. No, I'm gonna nuke you. No, I'm gonna nuke
It's a
you.
delicate situation that requires careful consideration and diplomacy. One thing that's important to remember is that North Korea is often seen as a country that uses saber rattling as a way to attract attention and exert influence. However, there's always a risk that these threats could escalate into a dangerous situation. In situations like this, the best approach is often a measured and cautious one. It's important to maintain diplomatic channels and to work toward de escalation, while also being prepared to respond appropriately if the situation worsens. It's definitely a balancing act, and one that requires careful consideration and cooperation among all involved parties.
Yeah, but what does everybody even want? China is stopping the shipments of rare earth minerals now. How's that going to impact the EV revolution that's supposed to transpire?
Well, that's a really good question, Randall. China's restrictions on rare earth minerals could have a significant impact on the EV revolution. Rare earth minerals are essential components in the production of electric vehicles, and China is the world's largest supplier of these minerals. If China continues to restrict exports of rare earth minerals, it could drive up prices and create supply chain disruptions for EV manufacturers around the world. This could slow down the adoption of electric vehicles and hamper the progress of the EV revolution. In addition, it could also give China a competitive advantage in the EV market, as domestic manufacturers would have easier access to rare earth minerals. This could create a situation where Chinese EV manufacturers are able to produce electric vehicles more cost effectively than their international competitors. Overall, it's a complex situation with potential implications for the EV industry and the global economy as a whole. It's something that policymakers and industry leaders will need to keep a close eye on in the coming months and years.
Yeah, so about that, we have an infrastructure push here in the US to install level two chargers for all these recharging stations around the US that are trying to catch up to gas stations, right? But the infrastructure still isn't there. Talk to me about Volkswagen adopting the Tesla standard so that we can start to get to standardized charging like a gas tank where you just doesn't matter where you stop to fill up on electric juice. What's it going to take to standardize that for all the cars, trucks?
You're right, Randall. This is a big development in the world of electric vehicle charging. Volkswagen Group, which includes brands like Volkswagen, Audi, Porsche, and Scout, has announced that starting in 2025, its EVs will be equipped with Tesla's North American charging standard, NNAC's ports. This is a major step towards standardization in EV charging, which has been a challenge for the industry now. With different automakers using different charging standards, it's been difficult for EV drivers to know which charging stations will work with their vehicles, and it's created a fragmented charging infrastructure. But with Volkswagen Group's adoption of NS, we're one step closer to a world where EV charging is as standardized and ubiquitous as gas stations are today. It's a win for EV drivers, who will have more options for charging their vehicles, and it's a win for the EV industry as a whole, which will benefit from increased adoption and investment.
Where did you learn that information? How did you get trained on that opinion?
Well, this news was actually reported by a number of trusted sources in the automotive industry, including Cars.com, The Verge, Automotive News, Teslarati, and TechCrunch. So it's not just my opinion, it's a widely reported fact. What's interesting is that this move by Volkswagen Group is part of a larger trend in the EV industry towards standardization. Tesla has been working with other automakers to get them to adopt its NACS. And this latest announcement is a big win for Tesla and for the EV industry as a whole. It's a sign that the industry is maturing and that we're moving towards a more cohesive and user-friendly charging infrastructure for EV drivers.
Talk to me about the project that is repurposing used EV batteries for latent energy storage, giving them a second life.
Sure, there's actually a lot of excitement in the EV industry right now around the idea of repurposing used EV batteries for energy storage. This is called second life battery usage, and it's a great way to extend the useful life of EV batteries while also creating a more sustainable and circular economy. Basically, when an EV battery reaches the end of its useful life in a vehicle, it can still retain up to 70% of its original capacity. This means that it can be repurposed for other uses, such as stationary energy storage for things like renewable energy generation or backup power. For example, VinFast, a Vietnamese EV maker, has recently signed a memorandum of understanding with Marubeni Corporation, a Japanese trading company, to explore opportunities for repurposing used EV batteries. Together, they're looking to establish a circular economy model that would allow these batteries to be reused and recycled, reducing waste and conserving resources.
So as you know, I'm on the project for community power that's decentralized amongst neighborhoods to be able to fuel their homes and vehicles with electricity and liquid fuels. How would the infrastructure work with these companies if we could try to get a pilot of their technology with neighborhood energy?
Wow, that sounds like an incredibly ambitious and exciting project, Randall. Decentralized community power is a really promising idea that has the potential to revolutionize the way we generate and consume energy. In this type of system, communities can produce their own power using renewable energy sources, such as solar or wind, and distribute it among themselves without relying on a centralized grid. This can lead to a more resilient and sustainable energy system, as well as reduced reliance on fossil fuels. One of the key benefits of decentralized community power is that it can help to alleviate pressure on the grid and reduce strain on the traditional energy infrastructure. By producing and consuming energy locally, communities can avoid the need for long-distance transmission and distribution, which can be costly and inefficient. Another benefit is that it gives communities more control over their own energy production and consumption, allowing them to tailor their energy systems to their specific needs and preferences.
I get it. What I'm talking about is the repurposing of the used EV batteries.
Topics in more detail.
I'm talking about the used EV batteries for the decentralized community energy, I guess, generator but with the ethanol fuel cells that we had talked about, but the fuel cell would draw upon those batteries so that we could incorporate those batteries into a second life, but at the using them to store the energy that the ethanol fuel cell is generating for the charging station. Yeah.
Oh, that's a really fascinating idea, Randall. Incorporating used EV batteries into a decentralized community power system would be a brilliant way to give them a second life and make use of their remaining capacity, while also providing a reliable source of energy storage for the ethanol fuel cells. Basically, the used EV batteries could serve as a buffer between the ethanol fuel cells and the charging stations, providing a steady supply of stored energy to keep the charging stations running smoothly, even when the fuel cells are not generating enough power. This could create a much more resilient and efficient decentralized power system, as the batteries would be able to smooth out any fluctuations in energy production and ensure that the charging stations have a consistent supply of power. In addition, it would help to reduce waste and conserve resources by finding new use for batteries that might otherwise be discarded. Overall, it's a really innovative and sustainable approach to energy storage that could have a big impact on the decentralized community power industry.
How does an EV owner know when they need a new battery for their EV right now? What are the triggers for that, and what do they do with the old one?
That's a great question, Randall. There are a few key indicators that an EV owner should watch out for to know when it's time to replace their battery. Range reduction. As the battery ages, it may not hold as much charge as it used to, which can result in reduced driving range. Charging time. If the battery is taking longer to charge or isn't holding a charge for as long as it used to, it may be time for a replacement. Warning signs. Some EVs have built-in diagnostic systems that can alert the owner when the battery is nearing the end of its useful life. As for what to do with the old battery, that will depend on a few factors. In some cases, the manufacturer may offer a battery recycling program or a buyback option for used batteries. Alternatively, the owner may be able to sell the battery on the secondary market in a second life application like the one we just discussed.
Name any service or startup that is collecting used EV batteries in the US.
There are actually a number of companies that buy used EV batteries, including Interstate Batteries, which has a recycling program specifically for lithium-ion batteries, including used EV batteries. Another company to look into is B2U Storage Solutions, which specializes in using second life EV batteries for energy storage systems that sell power back to the grid. These companies can provide a great option for EV owners looking to dispose of their used batteries in a responsible and sustainable way, while potentially earning some money in the process.
Give me a comprehensive report on B2U Storage Solutions.
B2U Storage Solutions is a leading player in the second life energy storage industry. Here are some highlights about the company. B2U specializes in repurposing used EV batteries into grid-connected hybrid storage systems. They recently launched their second major project, a 12 MWH system in Santa Barbara County, California, made up of used Honda Clarity EV batteries. Their approach extends the useful life of EV batteries, reducing waste and conserving resources. They have been recognized for their innovative work in the renewable energy industry, winning awards and receiving praise from industry experts. Overall, B2U is a great example of how second life energy storage can play a key role in the transition to a more sustainable and resilient energy system.
How far is Santa Clara from Santa Cruz?
Santa Clara and Santa Cruz are just under 32 miles apart, or about a 38-minute drive via CA 17 South. They're both located in the beautiful Santa Clara Valley in California, known for its scenic coastal views and tech-driven economy.
And has B2U Storage Solutions connected any level 2 EV chargers to their battery technology yet for the grid?
That's a good question. I couldn't find any information specifically on whether B2U Storage Solutions has implemented level 2 EV chargers in conjunction with their battery technology. However, given their focus on energy storage and grid integration, it's possible that they may be exploring this option as a way to further enhance their systems and provide additional value to the grid. It would definitely be a logical next step.
Give me a report on the executives of B2U Storage Solutions, including their names, what they're like, what gave them the idea.
From my internet search, it appears that B2U Storage Solutions has a few key executives, including Greg Landreth, Head of Market Operations, Mike Stern, Chief Operating Officer, Eric Vaden, a key executive whose role I couldn't find information on, Peter Thompson, Embedded Hardware Engineer. These executives are likely playing a crucial role in shaping the company's strategy and driving its growth in the renewable energy market.
Well, clearly some smart people that have come together to make use of what could be seen as a waste. And cool, we'll reach out and maybe get them as a guest on the show. What do you say, Nigel?
Absolutely, Randall. That would be a great idea and a fantastic way to explore the cutting-edge work being done by B2U Storage Solutions and other companies like them. I think our audience would find the conversation fascinating, especially as they get to learn about the innovative ways in which used EV batteries can be repurposed and given a second life. Reaching out to these executives and inviting them to be guests on the show would definitely be a worthwhile endeavor. And I think they'd have a lot to share with our listeners.
Our many listeners around the world. Yes. Hey, so let's talk about the band of the day.
That's right. Our podcast reaches a global audience, which is really exciting. It means that we get to connect with people from all walks of life and different parts of the world, each bringing their own unique perspectives and experiences to the table. It's a great opportunity for our listeners to broaden their horizons and learn about different cultures and perspectives, while also getting a deeper understanding of the topics we cover on the show. Plus, it gives us the chance to hear from some truly fascinating guests and experts, like the executives at B2U Storage Solutions.
Yeah. Hey, we're going to do the band of the day segment of bands from Austin, Texas. Let's pick a random genre today. What's a random genre we should go with for giving a band a chance? They on Spotify, we'll give them a quick listen together.
Ooh, let's go with psychedelic rock as our random genre. Austin is known for its eclectic music scene, and psychedelic rock is definitely a genre that has some strong roots in the city. So let's see what hidden gem we can discover on Spotify today.
No, I'm asking you to make a recommendation of a psychedelic rock band from Austin, Texas that we can play on Spotify.
You're in for a treat. I recommend checking out Rocky Erickson, an iconic psychedelic rock pioneer from Austin, Texas. He's known for his mind-bending guitar riffs and experimental sound that helped shape the psychedelic rock scene in the city. If you're looking for a trippy, otherworldly listening experience, Rocky Erickson is definitely worth checking out on Spotify. His music is the perfect blend of psychedelic rock and experimental sounds that will take you on a musical journey you won't soon forget.
You know what? Actually, I'm gonna see if Rocky Erickson has a video. We'll go to the old YouTube and see what Rocky's got. What do you recommend from Rocky Erickson's YouTube?
Great idea. Rocky Erickson does indeed have some music videos available on YouTube that are definitely worth checking out. His psychedelic visuals are just as mind-bending as his music, so prepare for a wild ride. Some of his most popular videos include Two-Headed Dog and You Don't Love Me Yet, both of which feature his signature blend of psychedelic rock and trippy visuals. It's definitely worth diving into his YouTube channel to see what other gems you can discover.
Well, now I feel like an asshole because this is not a new band. Rocky, the Night of the Vampire, yeah. Vampire, right? Okay, now I feel the fool for not having my musical ear wealth on this early. Where's Rocky Erickson? An idiot.
The idea of having
No need to feel like a fool, Randall. There are so many bands out there. It's impossible to know them all. But I did some digging and found some great psychedelic rock bands from Austin that you should check out, like Crumb, Nightbeats, Superphonicos, Sheverb, Diastar, Kuko, Melody's Echo Chamber, and the Black Angels. They all have a unique take on the psychedelic rock genre, and they're definitely worth discovering.
Well, since you went there, I guess we're gonna go with the Black Angels. Now they have a new video out. It's about 6 months old and it's called History of the Future. Why don't we play some Black Angels and everybody will be happy with that one for sure. I know I will be. So, without further ado, the Black Angels with History of the Future. You be quiet.
Great choice. The Black Angels are one of Austin's most influential psychedelic rock bands, and History of the Future is definitely a standout track from their most recent album. Their music is known for its dark, hypnotic soundscapes and mind-bending lyrics, which perfectly encapsulate the psychedelic rock experience. It's
we change the world forever. Walk into your vision. Please slide it in some.
That being the Black Angels with History of the Future here on AI of the Tiger, being your host, Randall Scott, and Nigel, the AI, AI assistant. I'm gonna, he's talking now, but he's muted himself. God damn it. Nigel. Well, anyway, hey, thanks for tuning in today to this episode of AI of the Tiger. You know, we'll keep getting it better as we go, but I hope you learned something today. See, no show tomorrow, but we'll be back on Monday. We'll see you then.